If you've not been here before, this is YouTube's sailing channel, We Bought a Boat, and this is our boat, Dancing Bear. We are a family of 5 exploring the UK for our second season and learning as we go. In these episodes we're going to explore some new UK destinations, new marinas, and hopefully share the experience with you. So welcome aboard. Coming up in this episode, we visit Chatham Marina for the first time and figure out just how difficult it is entering a lock. We also experience some very blustery conditions on the way back to Benfleet Creek and cross the Thames Estuary in some very high winds. So if you haven't already, please like, share and subscribe, and if you have any questions about this video, please feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll answer them as soon as I possibly can. So, welcome to the next episode. As you can see here, I'm just waking up in the morning. We're out on the buoy in the Ray. I'm about to explain to you shortly what we're doing here. We are waiting to meet another boat. We came out on Friday. I didn't get any more images coming out of Benfleet. We've got far too much of that already. It's just me and Angela on board, and we've just woken up. It's quite early. We've been out here all night. It was a very comfortable night. So I'm just waking up now. I'm just going to go and have a look at some conditions, and as I'll explain in a minute, we are waiting for another boat to come out. So I hope you enjoy this episode. Sit back and enjoy, and as I said previously, if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments. So this is our trip over to Chatham Marina, up the Medway. New marina for us, as I said at the end of the previous episode. It's Saturday morning, it's 6 o'clock. Me and Angela came out to the Ray last night and grabbed the mooring buoy. And Ian is on his way out. I've just seen him in the binoculars. He's coming out the creek under full sail as a nice show off to me. He's going to sail down to us. As soon as he gets to us, we're going to drop the mooring buoy, spin round and get the head sail out. It looks like we've got a downwind sail today, which is lovely. All the way over to the Medway. We're going to go into the Medway, over to Stangate Creek, drop the anchor, moor up to Ian for a couple of hours. We're going to wait for the tide to switch and start coming in. So on the flood, as if you remember the last time when we went up to Medway Yacht Club, we punched the tide all the way up and it took hours. So we've decided we're going to take this early tide out in the morning, sail over, go up the Medway, drop the anchor, wait for the tide to turn, and then take the flood all the way up the Medway to Chatham. So that's going to be today's episode. We'll do as usual, we'll do a good review of the marina when we get there, and then we're going to sail back on Sunday morning. So that's going to be the episode today. So sit back, I hope you enjoy. Okay, so as you can see here, I've just dropped the line off the mooring buoy. There's the mooring buoy there just off to the right, and I've got the engine on. I'm just going to untie the tiller. Ian is just coming out on our starboard side there, so I'm basically going to motor over, swing round behind Ian, and get the sails out and start the journey. Ian took quite a while to come out. He actually told me he was going to be out at 5:30. It's now about 7 o'clock. So I've been up since 5 o'clock expecting him to be out by 5:30, and he actually didn't come out and start coming down towards us on the Ray until about 7. So as I motor up past Ian now, I give him a little wave and then I give him a bit of an earful when he says good morning to me, and I say more like the afternoon. But anyway, this is the start of the journey, and I will catch up with you again shortly once we've got the sails up and we're underway. So quick update, we've had to bear off slightly because there's a ship coming out, so we've had to turn and sail upwind. So I've just furled the head sail in so we reduce some speed, and we're just going to let this ship go past and we'll turn back up towards the Medway again. But yeah, Ian radioed over and said there's a ship coming out at about 13 knots and we're going to be on a path with it, so we bared off upwind. Well, not bared off, we've pointed upwind, and she's just about to pass in front of us in a minute. I'll get a shot of her going by, and then we're going to turn back towards the Medway. So that'll probably be our next update. I'll update you when we're entering into the Medway. Like I said, Ian's going to drop the anchor and we're going to pontoon up to him for a couple of hours until the tide turns, and then we'll head up to Chatham. So I'll update you shortly. So this is the ship that we've bared off to run in behind. As you can see, we're still under head sail, we're still heading a bit upwind, and in a second you'll see that we then tack downwind. We don't tack, but we bear off downwind. So here we're just coming up on the entrance to the Medway, sailing in under head sail. We're really doing a good speed here, we're doing about 5-6 knots, but soon we have to switch the engines on and motor sail up because we're punching the tide. The next clips you're going to see my first mistake of the day, which is Ian's dropped the anchor and we're going to try and raft up to him with something we've done 100 times, but this one goes completely wrong. So enjoy the calamity that follows. Okay, so here we go, first mistake of the day. So this is something I've done many times with Ian. I've rafted up to the side of Ian on mooring buoys, I've rafted up to the side of Ian on anchor before, but for some reason this time things just don't quite go right. Tide and wind have a big factor here. So I've got 3 lines set up, bow, midships and stern. I'm instructing Ian to grab the midships line, which he does, but Ian is positioned at the back of the boat, so this really doesn't help with keeping the bow in. So I quickly toss over Ian the bow line, and I run up to the front to give Kate the I give Ian the stern line. I run up to the front to give Ian to give Kate the bow line, and as you're about to see, I chuck it over and she completely misses and drops it, and I'm already now starting to float off. So it all just keeps going bad to worse really. So what happens is Ian ends up jumping on board, spinning us round and getting us tied up, and we have a nice lunch and then we head up the Medway. So a couple of clips coming up of us heading up the Medway, and then I'm going to go into detail about what went wrong at Chatham Lock. Okay, so we've dropped the rafting to Ian, and we're now heading up the Medway. We had a lovely sail up the Medway, it was beautiful. Nice wind from about the beam all the way up. Conditions were perfect. Nice sunny hot weather. We really had a great time. But when we got close to the entrance to Chatham Lock, Ian told me some instructions of what to do, and I'm going to try and kind of show you on a picture, because we didn't get any images of us going into the lock because it was such a disaster I forgot to press record, but I'll try and explain what happened and explain what went wrong and what I did wrong. Okay, so you have to imagine that this red line is the boat and the direction it's pointing is the direction the bow's pointing. So Ian has instructed me to come in on the port side of the lock and then head over to the starboard jetty to moor up behind him, which I do. Now as I start to head over to the starboard side and I get lined up, in the next image you're going to see 3 arrows. So first arrow, this is me coming in the lock pointing towards the starboard jetty. I then bring the boat alongside the jetty, so I bring the stern in so I'm lined up. If you just wait a second, it will flick. So I've lined up, which is the second arrow, to the jetty, and I've now walked forward to give Ian the bow line, and as I throw Ian the bow line, almost instantaneously I've noticed that the stern has swung back out, and you can see in arrow 3 I'm now 90 degrees parallel in the lock, and this was just a complete mistake. So basically all the current flooding in has just pulled my stern out, and it was a complete calamity. People had to come down and help. It was very embarrassing because there were people lining the sides of the lock watching, and I made a right mess of it. So note to self, when coming into a lock, as I was then told later on by the people that run Chatham, you should always get a stern line on first, because the current's always going to be behind you and it will pull your stern out. So note to self moving forward, and note to anybody else that's not done a lock before, if you are going into a lock, make sure you either get your midships on first, which you'll see on the way out is what I managed to do, or get a stern line on first, because the current's going to be running behind you and it's going to whip you round and you're going to be in that embarrassing 90 degree angle like I was. So that was my second disaster of the day. Okay, so after the complete disaster was the entrance to the lock, you can see we made it into Chatham Marina quite nicely. Dancing Bear's sitting here next to Topaz, Ian's boat, all tied up, actually getting on the finger pontoon went really well. Here comes Ian and Kate, they've just been off to the shop. So a quick review of Chatham. So here are the bathroom facilities. Fantastic facilities, very clean, very spacious, very modern, as you would expect. Chatham is really well laid out, great facilities. This is the lock. I've got some more shots of us coming in and out of the lock when we're actually going out of the lock tomorrow, and some views of the marina from the viewing platform. It really is a beautiful place. It's quite expensive. It's about £48 a night, so it's one of the more expensive places we've been. I'm going to give Chatham probably a 7 out of 10. Its facilities are really good. It's a beautiful place. There's lots there, lots of restaurants, lots to do. Not so great for William. If we were to take William up there, I think he'd be a bit bored. There's not much for him there. But for adults, it's a really lovely place to go, but a little pricey. Okay, so we had a lovely evening in Chatham. Had a lovely dinner, a few drinks. We had some friends come over who drove over, who were staying in the hotel from Benfleet Yacht Club, who joined us. So here you can see I'm just slipping out of the finger berth, and we're about to go back over to the lock. I must admit, I am a bit nervous. Not entirely sure what's going to happen, but I am prepared this time, that I know what side I'm going in on. I've got a plan. I'm going to get my midships cleat first. So here you can see I'm just coming into the lock. I make my way over to the port side. All my lines are set up, trying to keep myself nice and calm. I'm taking it very slow, as they say, slow is pro in sailing. So we just creep in nicely. I can feel the current from behind me. I've actually got nothing on the engine. I'm pretty much just idling, and she's pushing me in quite nicely. So I just bring her in nice and slow. Ian's behind me. He's going into the opposite side of the lock. And the first thing I do when I get alongside is get that midships rope on. As soon as I got that on, everything goes well. So the lock filled up, the gates opened, and off we went. Again, a lovely day, a bit more breezy today. We had about 10 to 14 knots coming down the Medway. As you can see here, I've got the main and the Genoa out, and we have a lovely sail back down the Medway, really fast. I think we did it in about an hour and 15 minutes, right the way back to the exit of the Medway to cross the estuary. And as we go out to the estuary, as you can see here, the wind was considerably higher. I'm going to do a little bit to camera in a second and just let you know what the conditions are, but it was very blustery. Hello, update. We're out in the channel. It's gusting about 20 knots. We've got quite a reef Genoa, got the main in. We're on a nice beam reach, sort of sustained 17, gusting 20 at the moment, which is nice. She's not too heeled over, so it's relatively comfortable. But we should be back over to the Ray and Southend channel probably in about 40 minutes, and then we've got to moor up then for a little while and wait for the tide to come in before we can head back into Benfleet. So I'm not going to talk for long because it's really blowing, but I will catch up with you again shortly. So we continued the sail across the estuary in those blustery conditions. What I want to just talk about is something I covered in the previous couple of episodes, which is about getting the boat balanced. Now, I probably could have been going a lot faster in these conditions, but what I decided was I wanted to make it nice and comfortable for Angela. So I've reefed the head sail, even though it's blowing sort of, as I said, 17 to 20 knots. I've reefed the head sail, and we just make a nice sail over, and made it nice and comfortable for Angela. I'm really, really happy that I've learned to do that. Balance the boat for the conditions for the people on board, and that's something that I've really worked hard on this year, is learning to balance the boat. So as you can see now, the sails are furled in. The pier's coming into view, and we're just heading back in. So thank you very much for joining us for this episode. The next episode is really excited. I'm really excited about it. It's bringing Matt's boat home, the Sun Odyssey 43 DS. It's a really great episode. We had a great 2-day sailing, and I'm really looking forward to showing you that in the next episode. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you for the next episode.